Hey everybody, it's Lindsay with Organized to Save. So are you looking at revamping your budget for 2019? Are you really trying to save for some stuff that you've been wanting to get, or just trying to pay off debt? So today I'm going to walk you through on how to actually start setting up a budget that's going to work for you, that's going to keep you motivated and keep you on track of everything that you're spending so that way you can reach those goals. Make sure to stay tuned as we get your budget set up and get your finances working for you. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming to check out today's video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. On my channel, I talk all about getting you organized to save your time, money, and space. So make sure if you want to learn more about these things that you subscribe below and hit the notification bell so you get notified every single Wednesday when I post a new video. Today we are going to dive into the topic of money. And what I really want to start with is just kind of opening up the idea of creating a budget. Now, you might have already created a budget in the past. Maybe you have one that you're working with right now, but it's just not working for you. So what I want to do is just kind of start the conversation and maybe see if this budgeting system is going to work for you. It's a super easy system that you can implement, and it's going to keep you on track. So before we dive into this, I first want to talk to you guys about the concept of knowing your why. Why do you want to set up a budget? Is there certain things that you're saving for? Are you trying to pay off debt? Come up with your why, and that's really going to help keep you motivated throughout this entire budgeting journey, because it is going to be a journey. It's not going to be something that you're going to be able to snap your fingers and it's all going to fall into place and you're going to be a millionaire the next day. That's just not how it works. I really want to just stress that you need to come up with a why. So if it helps you, write it down and post it up somewhere so that way you make sure that it is top of mind and that it's really going to help motivate you to stay on track, because budgeting is hard work. So my husband and I actually had over $100,000 in debt between the two of us with student loans. And then we also had some car loans on top of that. So we had a lot of debt. So our why was to pay off the debt, because we wanted to be financially free later on and be able to live like nobody else, as Dave Ramsey says, which, by the way, I'm a huge Dave Ramsey fan. If you have no idea who I'm talking about, I will leave his website linked below. All right, so once you know your why, you're going to need to have a couple different budgeting tools. So obviously you need to have your money, but really the main tool that I want to talk to you guys about today is the Everydollar app, and they have a website and an app. They have a free version and a paid version. Today I'm going to be talking about the free version just because that is what my husband and I use, and we have really loved it. We've been using it solidly for over a year now. We've tried other budgeting apps in the past and they just really didn't work for us with what we needed, and once we found Everydollar, we were hooked. A budget. When we think about a budget, what it is really essentially us telling our money what to do instead of our money telling us what it's going to do. So with Everydollar, you can set it up to where you're actually telling every single dollar what to do, which I love about it. And it's called creating a zero-based budget. So you literally want to balance everything out so that way you zero it out, so every single dollar that comes in goes out or is being saved, so it all balances out to zero. So the first thing that I want you to do is go ahead and grab something to write with, and I'm going to have you write down some numbers. So I first want you to look at your income. And I want you to look at the last 6 months of your income. What I'm talking about with income is your net worth, and that is your income after taxes and if insurance comes out. Look at the last 6 months, total it all up, and then divide it by 6, and that's going to give you your average monthly income. We're going to use that as we're creating our budget. The next step is I want you to look at all of your expenses. So with expenses, we're just going to look at the last 3 months. Look at your bank accounts, or if you were using cash, if you wrote it down, look at all of your transactions that you logged, and look at all the different spending categories and write everything out and see what your average monthly expenses were. Go ahead and look at all of your bills, your different spending categories like your groceries, eating out, That includes like fast food and coffee runs and all that kind of stuff. So anything that you are spending, whether it be on your card or cash, write it all down and get your averages. So once you kind of can get a record of what you have already been spending, it's going to help you with creating a goal budget for the future. Now, if you are just completely starting new from budgeting, you have no idea where your money's been going, this is going to be a great place for you to start in just starting with tracking your income. So go ahead and still follow along with all of these steps, but really you're going to be using these next 3 months to creating your budget. So when my husband and I started off, that's what we had to do. We just had to start tracking our expenses for 3 months to be able to get kind of a basic idea of what we've been spending. So that way then we can look at it and reevaluate if we need to change things up, if we need to, spend less on groceries, for example. So really having that average is going to help you for the future to know kind of where you're at and if you need to make changes. So once you have those numbers, you're going to want to go into Everydollar and create an account. Now, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of creating the account because Everydollar does a really good job of kind of walking you through on creating the initial account. But what I'm going to do is we're going to pick up and start where we actually start creating your categories and putting in the numbers. All right, so the first part that you're going to be entering is your income. Now you're going to want to enter it as it is actually coming into your account. So if you get paid monthly, write it down as a monthly income. If you get paid bi-weekly, do that. So for this example that you're going to see on the screen, we are going to pretend that this person gets paid bi-weekly of $2,000, so $4,000 total for the month. Once you have your income in there, you are next going to go ahead and start putting in all of your expenses. So this is where we're going to really start breaking things up. What I want you to do is create a couple different categories and then I'll go in depth in each of them. The first expense category that you're going to want to create is a monthly bills section. Then you're going to create a cash envelope section and then your savings and your debt. So those are going to be your 4 main categories that you're going to create within your Everydollar budget. All right, so monthly bills. This is where you're going to look at everything that you're currently spending. Now keep in mind that we might be coming back to these and seeing if we can cut some of these out, specifically if you are in major debt and you are paying for cable. Sorry, we're gonna have to say bye-bye to the cable. But right now I want you to write everything out, so itemize it out. So your mortgage or rent, your utilities, your phone bill, your cable bill, internet, any subscriptions that you might have, a gym membership, childcare. Put all of those down and then take those averages that we established earlier and put those into your budget as the numbers. Now, like I said, we're going to probably come back to this later on and maybe have to reevaluate some of this, but for now, we just want to start with where you are at currently so that we can make a plan later on where you want to go. So next, you're going to want to look at your debt. So I know this one is going to be a daunting task. Trust me. When my husband and I actually sat down to crunch the numbers and figure out what our actual debt total was, you guys, I was so stressed out to see the actual amount of what we owed. I was like, how in the world are we going to be able to pay this off? But take it from me as someone who paid off the debt, that it is possible. I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy because it's not going to be. It was super hard work and it took a lot of us saying no to things so that we can be where we're at now and start saying yes to some other stuff. But it is going to be a game changer to not have that weight, of all the debt weighing you down. So please, please, please stick with me and start writing out all of your debt, put it into Everydollar so that way you can get a good snapshot of what you actually owe, and then you can figure out how we can start tackling it because you know what is actually owed. So with being a big Dave Ramsey fan and taking that financial peace class, I learned a lot about cash envelopes, which I've talked to you guys a little bit about before. Now, I want to suggest something a little bit different. Instead of kind of grouping all of these daily expenses into like a miscellaneous category, well, what I want you to do is think about it as you would your cash envelopes. So like, for example, in my wallet, I have it broken down into these different categories that we're going to talk about. And these are the day-to-day spending that I can get myself in trouble with if I just use a card and just continue to swipe. So the reason why I'm having you put these in a group together is just because it's going to be so much easier as you're looking at your budget to look at it in a grouping rather than, you know, scrolling here, there, everywhere. This way you can just look at it super easily and think about it in the terms of cash envelopes, that you are using cash for the majority of these categories. On the screen, you're going to see just a kind of a snippet of an idea of the different categories that you can create. Now, obviously, these are going to be customizable to you. These are just kind of a sampling of what my husband and I do. You're going to have kind of the same staples. You're going to have groceries, eating out, possibly. You might have some, like we call it a blow budget, so like fun money, basically, that if I want to go and get my hair done, that comes out of there, or if I want to go buy something fun for my planner, that comes out of there. So anything that is not to a specific category, that's kind of our mini miscellaneous fund. Otherwise, all the rest of the categories, you're going to really break it down so that way you can really know if you are staying on track with your budget or not. And then once you have all those different categories written out, up at the top of the screen, you will see where it tells you how much that you have left. So if it says that you are negative right now, then we need to have a serious look at your budget and start reevaluating things. So that's what I talked about earlier, about cutting that cable if you are spending more than what you are making. So at this point, we haven't even talked about savings yet. So I really want you to look at that and see what you have left to be able to determine if you need to go back and readjust some of your categories so that you aren't going in the hole every single month. Then also look at seeing how you can cut even more so that way you can start saving or paying more on your debt. So you might be asking yourself, well, how much should I be spending on everything? Well, on the screen, there is, from Everydollar had this on their website, and it's a super helpful pie chart that actually shows you the percentages of what they're suggesting for the different categories. Now, keep in mind that miscellaneous and that personal spending category, those are kind of what I grouped into our cash envelope section. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your percentages. But this is going to be a great roadmap for you as far as just kind of a quick glance to know if you are within what is suggested. Obviously, it's going to be different for every single person and where you live as well, because where I live is going to be way less expensive than, for example, like California or something like that. All right, so savings, I'm going to go in depth in savings in a future video, so I'm not going to touch on it too much here, but I really do want you to start thinking about savings, start thinking about, Dave Ramsey really enforces having a $1,000 emergency fund. Now, obviously, you'll want to keep increasing that as you can, but to start out, just having at least $1,000 in the bank in case if you lose your job tomorrow and you don't know how you're going to pay your bills. Well, this will ensure that you have a little bit of a cushion to help you out. So make sure that you are subscribed so when that video comes out, you get notified. All right, guys, so I know I kind of threw a lot at you. It was just a quick briefing on how to create a budget. So let me know in the comments below what else you want to see, what you want help with. Do you want to know more about creating a cash envelope system? Do you want to know more about savings? Do you need more of an in-depth look on how we break up our different, day-to-day spending categories? Let me know in the comments below what you guys are looking for so that way I can create some more videos that are going to work for you when you are working on your budget. But again, you guys, I just want to encourage you to stick with it. I know you can do it. It's going to be a ton of work, but trust me, it's going to be worth it in the end, so that way you can live the life that you want to live. So make sure to check out the videos on the screen right now, and do not forget to subscribe below so you don't miss any of the other budgeting videos that I have coming your guys' way. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.